Hello explorers, Andrew Veal here playing the role of DragonDM. Though at this point in my life, maybe it's DragonDM playing the role of Andrew. I am here to guide you into the world of Hardak, catch you up with the adventures of Jesse, Khestri, and Robealak, and distract you from the wonders that is stew washing up and my bad internet connection. Today's session was particularly tense. As a dungeon master, you are rooting for your players. However, when you play certain antagonistic NPCs, you are forced to do your utmost to impede their plans, remove their characters from the mortal realms, and it is a fine line as a dungeon master. Your players need to always respect the possibility of a player character's death, but they also should feel like they are important to the story and that you are not out to get them. This requires you to have quite in-depth discussions with your players about what type of game they are looking to play. This session 0, which for my groups can be multiple session zeros spread out over weeks as we build characters and understand the game we want to play, is the most important aspect of D&D if you are looking to have a fun time and for your players to enjoy themselves. Let your players know how consequential their actions are going to be beforehand. The session 0 is not a space for you to tell other people what sort of game you will play. It is a discussion. And if you, through that discussion, realize that you aren't able to play together, my suggestion would be don't. If you're looking for very different things, you aren't going to find it at the same game. In fact, D&D is a lot like a relationship. You should talk to each other, and you should do your best to accommodate each other's wants. If you find that it's not possible to have fun together, then it's time to move on. Hopefully, without hurting anyone's feelings. But it's better to hurt their feelings rather than build animosity as you struggle through something you shouldn't. With that out of the way, I hope you're able to relax and enjoy episode 10 of Truth Uncharted. No longer a static image to tide you through, but 3 static images to grab your attention. May I present Part 1, Deadly Drow.
Jesse, to warm up, why don't you describe one of the moments that Jesse enjoyed in the week of downtime you had in Balrantan?
Okay. I think there was a few moments. I think I enjoyed realizing that I was learning stuff off the kind of herbal knowledge when I started just picking stuff out without having to be told what to do, getting a bit more independence that way. So that was nice. And also just I guess existing in the same space as the others, but not particularly doing anything, but just being in that same environment and kind of
coming home to the same
together.
place.
Yeah, and with this the same people getting into just Robealak and Khestri, just in a more kind of family environment rather than hostile. Yeah.
Excellent. Robealak, same thing for you.
So, I also would say I enjoyed the family environment. I think that was a very sweet observation. I also liked it, starting to trust my new friends more. But one thing that stood out to Robealak, she was reading some books in her Master Torlek's study, and she thought of a new joke about a type of fae that she thinks is fantasy, but maybe is based in reality, called there's a group of them called the Rays, and there's all different types of Rays, from very small to very large Rays, and there's a family of Rays that she read about in this probably fictional story, and the Rays are fae creatures, and one of the Rays is called an X-ray, and she thought of a joke centered on the X-ray that she was very proud of.
Does she want to share that joke with us?
Yes!
Then share away.
One of the fae creatures No, a normal man. I start again. A normal man, just a normal big human man walking around doing human stuff. He decides his name is Raymond. His name is Ray. His friends call him Ray. He wants to change his name. He's tired of being Ray. So he goes to the courtroom and he talks to the judge and the lawyers, and they go through the formal procedures for changing his name, and all is successful and his name is changed. And once the procedure is over, he walks out the courtroom through the back wall, and the judge is stunned, and the judge turns around and says, "How did you do that?" And the man says, "I'm an X-ray."
Hey.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Angus. And Khestri. What did Khestri enjoy about her week of downtime?
The atmosphere with Robealak and Jesse. Robealak's constant jokes have become slightly less grating. She also rather enjoyed the moment where she realised that if the group split up, Brat kept following her. Sort of to her, she the fact that kind of they saw her as the bigger threat, and that's kind of a respect that she's not really used to having and kind of enjoyed.
I like that. I like that a lot. So, with pleasant memories behind, and hopefully pleasant ones to come, let us set the scene. Does anyone remember exactly where you are? Does anyone want, for them bonus points to set the scene?
So we've been tracking. Well, I've been tracking through the forest, following some spider. A kind of massive spider prints rather than like individual spider prints. And we've come across what looks like a drow in the quite close distance.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Whilst you were tracking, you were having difficulty with many things you're trying to do. You're trying to keep the direction that your previous spider acquaintance had in mind. You were trying to avoid any of these highly trafficked areas to not draw attention to yourself. You had lots of things on your mind, which is why, and also because of a fairly low survival check roll, which is why that you come quite abruptly upon this drow and this clearing in the forest. Anyone remember how the clearing looks?
Not really.
No.
Sorry.
Don't be apologize. It's for bonus points. I will punish you later. So the clearing itself, had rather large cobblestone texture to it. A half circle against a cliff face. There was a tent to one side, standing not quite sort of central, slightly off center, was this drow who heard your approach as you noticed their presence before you, and you seem to. He turns around at the same time as you become aware of his presence. There are two circles away from the cliff that intersect the edge of the half circle, and there are two statues that are badly damaged, show a lot of wear, and need to be looked at more closely before you can really pull anything from them.
A heavy mist sits upon the forest above the cliff and rolls down in waves towards you.
But the drow turns, he speaks. What's the meaning of Oren? And he immediately switches into drow. No. What has his house Canathrin got to do with us? Why are you here? This is mine.
I speak now as well. What's yours is what you can keep. We have interests here.
There was a reason I was chosen. Tell your slaves to stay there. Let us talk.
I turn my head towards Jesse and Robealak. They remain here. We'll talk by ourselves.
Fair enough.
Oh.
And
Okay.
as I'm trying to turn my head enough so that this other drow can't see them, and I wink at them.
Okay.
Can I insight check the wink to make sure she's not colluding with this other drow to kill us?
You most certainly may.
Cocked. Okay. Oh, it's big. It's big. 23.
Khestri seems to be genuinely trying to assure you and not trying to assure you for the purpose of deceiving you. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Anna.
That's absolutely correct.
There we go.
Jesse, will you protect me?
I'll do my best.
Thank you.
That's all right. Will you help me out if you can?
Sorry.
Will you help me out if you can?
Absolutely, absolutely. We non-drows must stick together.
Oh, I don't know. Sorry, I think they can both hear what we're saying.
Khestri, before you stands a drow who you have some familiarity with. His name is Braunherd. He is a scout. You were on a party with him when you were defending borders in the Underdark. That is how you know each other. He is from a different house. He is a renowned weapons expert and also spent some time in the Wizarding Academy. What has Lady Falana tried now?
Well, I'm not sure that is something we should be discussing quite so openly, but let's just say it's going to be rather spectacular when it all comes up.
She may be attempting to be spectacular in the wrong place. There are larger entities involved here.
So why did they pick you?
See a sort of slightly cocky grin comes over his face. They needed my expertise. Yes, there is not everything the clerics and the matron mothers can do themselves. They need us.
I mean, I'm just shocked by the fact you're considered an expert in anything.
It is good to see you again, Orin. You know that I am adept, and he pats. You know that he is a practitioner of Zres Alathak, the fighting style that favors strength over finesse. A rarity amongst the Drow, but can be quite potent. You're a long way from even where we travel together. What brings you here?
House business, right? So what, they sent you to hack down a few of these trees, did they?
House business falls to the wayside against bigger business. City business. Business from Loth. You are playing a very dangerous game. You have a young matron. She doesn't know everything.
No, but I do not think she will take it particularly well, if that is what I go back telling her.
Well, either you take that risk, or you take the risk of Loth.
Allow me a moment. What we are doing here. One of my slaves has a useful ability to communicate over distances.
Before you do so, see sense, Orin. Your matron mother cannot harm you if you follow Loth's will. To do so would be folly. To lose favor is death. You know this.
I know.
Then very well. Make your message.
I turn around a lot more nonchalantly than I feel. And I walk back over to Robealak.
As you turn around, with advantage, that's a natural 20. I'll have everyone roll with
You guys are mean.
Jeez, bastards.
Wow, motherfuckers!
Oh yeah, that's an 8.
DM, are we in sunlight?
Yes, you are currently in sunlight. You are actually the most sunlight you have been since the surface. So what Khestri doesn't quite see, but Jesse and Robealak do see, is that as soon as Khestri turns, Braunherd draws out a particularly wicked-looking dagger. The handle is normal, but on either side of the blade, 4 legs like a spider reach back, and as he stabs it into Khestri, they clamp down and try and pierce into her. So what was the rest of the initiatives? We have 8 from Robealak,
12 from Jesse.
20.
12 from Jesse. Well done. 20 from Khestri. That will help. Khestri, can I have a Constitution saving throw, please?
9.
9. Okay. That is a fail, but it is not a double fail, which is important. So, Khestri, you are now poisoned. So that is disadvantage on all ability checks, attack rolls. At 9, it is just those. As you feel this pulse of poison injected from the dagger go into you.
Do I take any damage?
Now it's a double damage for a crit, which is a 1 doubled to 2. So that is just 6 points of piercing damage. And then you can hear the sound of a very large sword being drawn out of its sheath from behind you.
Okay.
I knew you must have been weak to leave, but I didn't expect to gain your back that easily.
But you had to go first, Khestri, because you have rolled the highest initiative. That was his surprise round, so this is now your turn. Unfortunately, he has
Acted.
in the surprise round.
Okay. I will draw my swords. And turn around to face him again.
Prevail. You always did feel a little above your station.
Dravelv being the name for dual swords.
Kneel, and I cast command.
You command it. He fails the saving throw. On his turn, he will have to follow the action kneel. Okay.
And in that case, I will take a couple of steps. No, I will not actually. I will stay where I am, but I will use second wind to heal up a little bit.
Okay. You can roll your 1d10 plus 1 healing for your bonus action, second wind. You don't step back, you stay next to him. Yep. And as you enchant command word, you say the magical phrases and then the single word kneel. You watch as, to your eyes, semi-visible bands come out of the ground, attaching to points on his body, pulling him down. He tries to resist. At a certain point, his eyes glaze out, and fatigue seems to have set in, and he begins the process of being dragged down into a kneeling position. The tendrils that come out sort of shoot up, attach, and then stretch and constrict, pulling him down towards the ground. Wrists pulled to the ground, head pulled to the ground. He is now in the prone condition, and he ends his turn unable to move. Jesse, it is your turn.
Okay. I run over. I briefly say, "I'll just try and kill him, yeah." And then I hit him with my sword and with booming blade.
Nice.
Okay. Jesse, you're currently 60 feet away, but that is no problem for you because that's exactly as far as you can travel using your bonus action aggressive feature to run your full movement twice so that you are standing next to him. You then enchant the words, the thunderous energy of your sorcerer's storm within you comes forward. I will roll natural one. Wild surge happens, and you can roll your attack roll to see if you can hit with booming blade. You have advantage because
boy.
the target of your attack is prone.
Okay. Right. I rolled. So that's 19 total.
19 hits.
Oh, it was 19. Sorry. But yeah.
19 still hits.
Thanks. Okay, so that's and then. Oh, hang on. So is that 2d8 plus 6? What's the
2d8. So it's 1d8 for the sword, and then it's 1d8 which is thunder damage, and then it's only plus 4 now because the person before you is not a monstrosity.
Oh,
They-
good point. Yes.
Yes. So 2d8 plus 4 damage, and wreaths of thunderous energy surround the currently prone target. If he attempts to move
Okay.
from that square, he will take another 2d8 thunder damage.
Nice. That's 7 points of damage.
So the result of your wild surge on the custom table that I have built for you,
Thank you.
a roll of 420, blaze it, is for a total surrounding thunder wave. So I will need Khestri and the prone target to make dexterity saving throws. As you cast this, from within you, thunder claps outwards. Khestri, dexterity saving throw, please.
Okay. 14.
14. And 1, 3, 8. So you take 8 points of thunder damage.
Sorry,
Uh,
Khestri.
Hold on, before I do that, what's your saving throw, Jesse? I was using the wrong saving throw there.
For dexterity.
No, your spell save DC, which would be 8 plus your proficiency plus your charisma modifier.
Okay, so that's
So
8 plus
11
So 11 plus your charisma.
modifier.
So that's 13.
Okay, so you pass, which means you only take 4 points of thunder damage. Khestri, the prone target not, so the prone target takes another 8. As thunderous energy explodes out, and Jesse, you also take 4 points of thunder damage from your own effect.
Sad times.
Yeah, but it happens.
It happens.
A net neutral, seeing as the prone target took 8. So
Yeah, true.
And then we go to Robealak's turn. Robealak, you witness an interesting start to battle so far.
I'm glad I'm
But
where
it-
I am. I mean,
Yeah,
just
60 feet away, watching it. What do you want to do?
spot for me. Is the prone guy going to be hard to hit with my crossbow?
Yes, you will have disadvantage to hit because he is prone.
In which case, I will use my action to cast Vicious Mockery, and I will bonus action hide approximately 50 feet away from where this is all happening.
There is nowhere to hide within 50 feet of it because it's a clearing.
Okay. And I will use my bonus action to inspire my buddy Jesse. And I will say, as my vicious mock, I'm going to say,
You're making me feel like a clownfish because I see an enemy.
I'm afraid he succeeds against the vicious mockery.
Oh, damn it.
Jesse, at the point of your choosing, inspired by that joke, you can add a d6 to an attack roll or any d20 throw after you throw it, but before you know the results.
Oh, great. Okay, thank
Which takes us to the turn. Now, unfortunately, because of the sunlight, Khestri, your passive perception is dropped down, and what neither you nor Jesse were able to see in time was that sections of this cobblestone are interwoven with web and have been hollowed out beneath, and those sections collapse now as spiders erupt out from the ground about you. And it is their turn. Given where you are, I need Khestri to make a dexterity saving throw, and then the attacks will come in. Jesse, there are 2 against you. I need you to make an athletics check.
Athletics check. Great.
Yes.
That's a 21.
21, almost as good as the spider's 23.
Oh, damn
As
it.
you find yourself grappled by a spider, your movement is now 0 until you can break the grapple,
Okay.
and it will then drag you for half of its movement down into one of these pits. And down there you see another 2 spiders waiting for you,
Okay.
who will attack you, as it is their turn. That misses against your AC, and the second one also misses.
Yes.
So 2 misses. If you would like, you can activate your reaction shocking grasp, which I promise I will stop reminding you about if you want.
No, I'm very keen
Once-
for that. Hang on. Reaction
Yeah,
shocking.
once per day you can reaction shocking grasp via your chest plate.
Oh, of course I can.
Tempest.
Yes. Okay, I definitely do that.
Okay, so it makes and fails the saving throw, so you can roll for me 2d8 lightning, please.
Okay. Oh, that's 4. It's not great.
Okay, 4 is something. And then it loses its reactions as well. As the lightning jolts from your plate onto it, you see it kind of jolt a bit, and it seems like it has been negatively affected by the lightning currently coursing through it.
Nice.
Did you make the dexterity saving throw for me?
No, I didn't. Oh, no, was that me or Jesse? Sorry.
Khestri, not Jesse.
No, I did not with an 8.
An 8. Alright, so you stumble and are yourself put prone, but as the ground behind you kind of slides away, prone up top. No, sorry, prone at the bottom. You're currently 10 feet below the prone brawn herd at the moment, but the spiders are preoccupied attacking Jesse on the other side of this pit trap. What would you like to do?
I will get up of the trap if I can.
You can half your movement to stand up, and then it's just a 10-meter thing, which is pretty easy for you to climb using 20 movement. So you just get to the top, and then that's all of your movement spent. But you are back to where you were.
Great. Cool. I will attack the still prone drow.
Disadvantage and advantage cancel. So straight rolls, please, for your attacks.
Okay. Wonderful. A 13.
13, I'm afraid, doesn't hit. As you strike down, due to the slight glare of the sunlight coming off of the snow, your sword strikes into Brawnherd's armor, and he is unaffected.
Okay. Second attack. It's 21.
21 does hit. Roll for damage, please. I'm afraid, whilst the person before you might be, in some regards, a monster, he is not a monstrosity.
That's fine. And I will drop a smite into this.
Okay, go right ahead. So, 1d6 for the weapon, 2d8 for the smite, plus 4.
So that is 12, 20 plus, so 23.
Oh, 23. Whew. That like you land a sort of blow, and you can feel the energy, this power. And for you, the smite almost comes as a flux of strength, and you just cleave harder than is physically possible with your blow. And it makes a nice, hefty impact on Braun, who's currently tied down. He does manage to pull to the side, so you haven't split him in two. But the one thing you notice is that he is mad. And unless you have anything else you want to do, but I believe you've attacked with bonus action, so that's your
Yep.
full repertoire.
Yep.
The man before you rips his hands off of the ground and stands up. He is shorter than you by a fair amount, as you are quite tall for a drow, and male drows tend to be shorter than female drows anyway. But he is heavy set. He grins at you. I hope you enjoyed that. But it's over. And he will launch into his two attacks with the two-handed sword. He'll do the first one straight, and will miss with 11 as you watch, and then with a sudden explosion of speed, this huge, and to you, kind of cumbersomely long sword suddenly rips out, and you are forced to dance back and forward to avoid being split in two. And you realize that whilst he might be slower than you, and you definitely should have the advantage in a normal fight, given his fortitude and how much force he's putting behind his swings, you are going to have to dance in and around your adversary. And the second one is a 16 to hit.
That just misses.
Just misses. So as the sword comes flying along, you manage to kind of take both your swords and, rather than blocking, deflect the strength down and away. He's angry about that, so he will action surge and attack twice more. Natural 20 and a 17 this time.
Both.
I need. So he rolls that, and he will use Savage Attacker to reroll that on the crit. Better. 8 doubled 60, 20 on the first, as just as you're smiling because you've managed to deflect the blows down and away, in a supernatural burst of speed, he brings the sword back down over and over his head. It just cleaves downwards onto you. And then for the second attack, 9 points, as you mostly avoid that one, but still take a fair amount. He doesn't move at all because he's currently surrounded by the booming blade energy and is smart enough to know what that means. So he will instead regain some of his health using his second wind on the bonus action, and then smile at you. Jesse, you are currently down in a pit surrounded by 3 spiders, one of whom is grappling you in its front legs.
Okay. Is it still grappling me?
One of them looks
Oh, sorry.
One of them looks a little dazed and like it's not going to be doing anything for a little bit of time, as little arcs of lightning still jump from leg to leg.
Okay. Was that the one that was grappling me that had that happen to it?
No, because it didn't make an attack against you, you couldn't use your reaction against it. So you had to pick one of the ones that was attacking you.
So I'd like to use... So the attacks from a spider counts as a melee attack, right?
Yep.
So I cast Amoragathus.
You call upon the storm, and that's violent energy that you get within the largest of storms, where hail meets lightning, coalesces around you, and ice begins to form over you and your armor.
Nice. And then can I
That is your action. You still have...
So as the bonus action, can I try and
So to break a... Unless you have a special ability to do so, unfortunately not. So to break a grapple, you need to meet one of two conditions. Either you can spend an action to try and break the grapple with the contested athletics check, or you can, if either you or the person who is grappling you is separated by enough distance that they no longer could reach you by a knockaway effect or any other sort of thing like that, then the grapple ends. But whilst you are grappled, your movement becomes 0. So at the moment, you need something else to get you out of there.
Okay. Can't really do anything. So, yeah, no, I can't. So, I just kind of struggle irritatedly and say, "Keep it up, Khestri."
Down from below Khestri, you hear words of encouragement from Jesse, who is in a tight spot, to say the least, kind of down in the pit, but I imagine your focus is mostly upon the very dangerous Drow in front of you right now. Robealak, just before your turn, you see someone run out of the forest towards you.
Okay.
Running through the wilderness towards you. He had to make 4 stealth rolls because he was tailing you on the way out here. He managed to roll 2 natural 20s and 2 things that were above a natural 17, which, was very surprising because I was like, he's going to follow you, but he's also probably going to be seen really soon. But no, Brack was having a great time out there watching various things happen. So yeah, Brack is running past you. He does not have the aggressive feat, so he will burn his action to move and get just to the edge of one of the pits. Robealak, it is your turn.
What do I see? Are there 2 pits filled with 3 spiders each?
As you look before you, there was a section of cobblestone in a sort of horseshoe shape around the point where Braunherd met with Khestri that has fallen down. So it's all one section that sort of arcs around. The horseshoe kind of faces you with the curve. So there's room to walk out backwards towards the cliff, but not in the direction you are. And Brack is currently on the far side of that from Khestri and Braunherd. Down in the pit, you saw Jesse fall. You can't see any of the spiders in there, because if you think the ground's flat and there's a pit down, but you can hear spider noises, and you can hear Jesse's orcish grunts of exertion, followed by, "You've got this, Khestri," as Jesse just figures out a way that she's going to get out of her situation. Do you want any other description of the area, or does that got you in the zone?
Can I go somewhere where I can see the spiders? Would I be able to see them, or would I have to get right to the edge to see them?
Right to the edge. Because you're in a clearing, there's nothing to stand up on to gain a better vantage.
Mm-hmm. Right. I will move forward my 30 feet, so I'm 30 feet away from the action. And I'll try and put myself in the midpoint of, I'll move towards both the spiders and the drow, so I'll be somewhere sort of in between them, 30 feet away. And I will shoot at the drow with my crossbow, and I will bonus action inspire Brack.
Make your attack roll, please. It is just a straight attack roll. Braunherd is very aware of your presence right now.
Yeah,
and Brack has a d6 to use when he sees fit.
Okay, I missed.
Okay. Braun, very much aware of his surrounding, just lets it slip. It ricochets off of top shoulder guard that is parts of his chest plate that he wears. But Brack is bolstered by your encouragement. After Robealak, spiders turns. 3 spiders, the one that's grappled you and the 2 that are around you. Now that the one that's grappled you has not spent its time doing that, they can flank you, Jesse. So you can only at any time really face and contend with 2 of them.
Because they're
at 3 points of a triangle, which means whichever one ends up being at your back has advantage on its attack rolls.
Right, okay.
This is a little change from what we normally do. In standard D&D, there is an optional rule, which is that if you can be on either side of a person, then both people attacking have advantage. It's an optional rule. Traditional D&D, there is no advantage for your positioning. That doesn't really make much sense to me. But it also has this weird situation that if 3 people stand around you at the points of a triangle, even using the optional rule, none of them gain advantage because none of them are opposite somebody, and the rule specifically calls for that in order to gain advantage.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm going to be using a system from a slightly older one, which is the idea of facing, and that is that it's the DM's discretion. If it is appropriate, then you can gain advantage from being within a certain position relative to something, but it still maintains the idea that you are not blind to things behind you. You still know they're happening. They just might have certain advantages in attacking you. It's assumed in battle you are constantly looking around and keeping yourself aware.
That makes sense.
So the first one gets a 17 to hit. The second one gets a 6 to hit. No, not 6. Slightly higher than a 6, but lower than your armor class. And natural 1 has advantage to an 18. So that's, I think, 1 hit. Does the 17 hit?
I've got 16 AC, I think. So
and unfortunately, the 17 will hit.
Rip.
I need 2 Constitution saving throws from you, please. You take 10 points of piercing damage total.
Oh, damn.
And the first one to hit you, so 5 of that comes off of your Armor of Agathis. And frustratingly for me, the first one to hit you dealt 4 points of damage, and the second one dealt 6 points of damage, which means both of them take 5 points of cold damage from your Armor of Agathis.
Okay, cool. Why was that frustrating?
So once again, you have a neutral turn of because if they dealt 6 damage first, it would have knocked off your Armor of Agathis, and then the second one wouldn't have taken any damage. Because it's only whilst you have those temporary hit points and are hit you deal the 5 points of damage. So the order matters. But you're lucky, so yeah, you managed to freeze some spiders chelicerae.
Okay.
And kind of down there, like, now you're being absolutely swamped. They're climbing over you, they're biting at you. You're using every ounce of orcish strength that you can muster to just stay on your feet as, like, the weight of these giant spiders bears down on you.
Yeah. So with the Constitution rolls, I've rolled so a 18 and a natural 1, which goes to a 3.
So you are currently poisoned, which means disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks. We then pop up to the sort of center of this battle. Khestri and Brawnherd engaged. Khestri, at this point, I'll introduce one of the other rules for the changes in combat, the idea that when you are sort of mano a mano and against a particular enemy, you can, by describing how you are combating them, and they will describe how they are countering that, one of you can undergo sort of free actions based upon winning that countering. So, for example, if I was to say I want to press my opponent, I could then cause them to have to move backwards with my movement forwards, and then it's their choice. Either they move backwards as I move forwards, and then it's as normal, or if they don't want to do that, they can stand still, but I will either deal more damage or have, because they are trying to, like, withstand an assault that I have succeeded in doing. So right now, Brawnherd is using heavy sweeps with sufficient frequency to try and keep you at distance and threaten you with a very immediate demise should you not be darting around. How do you counter?
I want to sort of take sort of like a half step away, so that he'll have to kind of lean into the next strike a little bit more. And then as I'm doing that, I'll kind of, like, Kestri's looking pretty hurt. I think, like, she's got, like, one side of her kind of quite badly slashed up, but she wants to try and make it look like she's hurt more than she is. And hope that he will put a lot more into his next swing, and as he has to lean a little bit further forward, she will be able to get him slightly off balance.
So I will like you to make a deception check then. As he is pressing, he will make an athletics check.
Okay. And it's a disadvantage for me, right? Because I'm poisoned.
Yes, the poison does give you disadvantage on that check.
Oh, okay, that's a natural one, so 4.
Okay, so he succeeds so 4.
He only actually beats you by 1 step, and it's a tiered ladder, so the more steps you beat them by, the more you can do.
Because you're up against a pit and he is pushing, your choice now. Basically, as you are sort of combating before his turn, a particularly nasty swing comes in. Either you can fall down into the pit, falling prone for the start of his turn, or you can stand your ground but be slightly off balance, meaning that he would have a bonus to his first attack against you on that turn.
So I still have my turn to take right before it gets around to his turn again.
Yes.
Okay. So I will stand my ground and stay where I am. So given what I want to do this turn, let me know if that's not viable. Okay?
Yep, yeah, that's fine. So a particularly heavy swing is coming as you're like trading, not blows, but trading assaults, attacks, twists, turns. What do you want to do on your turn?
How wide is this pit? You say it's like a horseshoe shape, so
Horseshoe. It's just 10, slightly less than 10 feet wide.
that's okay. Cool. I will use my action to hang on. Nah. Okay, another technical question, DM.
Yes.
I don't know how you're doing this. I am in sunlight and poisoned. Is that a single disadvantage, or am I taking more penalties because of that?
Currently single disadvantage. I have capacity and ideas for implementing like tiered systems, but at the moment you are benefiting from the fact that I haven't introduced it yet, and it is a single disadvantage that you are facing.
Okay, in that case, then I will use my action to attack him.
Okay.
So, at disadvantage. That is 17.
17 hits.
Okay. In that case, I will. I will drop another smite into that.
Okay. As you do that, you notice that he stopped moving a second before you hit, lets you hit him, and then points his finger at you. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw as he hellishly rebukes you.
Okay. Do I roll my damage before that, or is this gonna?
Before that, you definitely get the hit off.
Okay. What is good? That is 14.
14. So that's 14 points of damage. You definitely lay in another hefty hit. You can feel Ganador's hand or presence guiding you as you do so, and then a dexterity saving throw, please, as flames erupt around you in response.
Well for me. That is a 14 on the dexterity saving throw.
A 14 is not enough to beat his DC. He is frustratingly intelligent. So that's 16 points of fire damage as you are wreathed in flame.
Okay, that is enough. Khestri falls unconscious.
As it's burning you, Braunherd looks to the right, sees Brack, and as your consciousness is fading away from you, what? You want to be a little fairy yourself? And then you fall unconscious. And yeah, that will be down into the pit for you.
So I guess I take a fail.
No, not quite. Although it's a 10-foot drop, it is also covered in spiderweb, which is why Jessie didn't take any damage when she was dragged down. It is slightly padded,
which reduces the distance fall by 1 step, and that takes it to nothing.
but that isn't really a problem because on his turn, Brawnherd will obviously drop down and try and end you because that is his task right now. So as he does that, Brack will have an attack of opportunity because he'll have to go through that, but he doesn't care. Brack manages to hit, and he's raging 11 points of damage, but Brawnherd is still up. So Brawnherd's going to take both attacks against you, Khestri, while you're down with advantage. That's a natural one, but he has advantage.
Ugh.
That's a 4 on the dice. Maybe on the way down, he got overzealous, or maybe Brack's attack knocked him.
Carrying his strike down just shy of Kestri's chest.
But he has another. That's a 50. Yeah, that will do it. That's a 26 to hit. So even though the first strike as he comes down slides and hits next to you, pulls out the second one, strikes it down, you fail 2 death saves immediately. Jesse, you see this happen in front of you because you're down in the pit as well. Robealak, you hear this happen. The sickening sound of someone striking essentially a bag of meat with a giant greatsword. Khestri, what's your total hit points at the moment? Like your total hit points if you were fully up?
Hit point max is 49.
Then I won't bother rolling. You will not be instant killed by this. Jesse, it's your turn.
Right. Okay. I attempt to wrestle the spider that's restraining me off.
Okay, how would you like to do that? Would you like to spend your action to make an opposed athletics check with the spider to break the grapple? Or is there some other way you'd prefer to do it?
I can't think. Is there another way that I could do it?
So if you have anything that can force the spider to move, like a spell that knocks people back, or if you take the shove attack, you can shove the spider off of you. The benefit of the shove attack would be that it would also mean that if you were to move after it, it is not within range to make an attack of opportunity on you, rather than just breaking the grapple.
Oh, right. Okay, great. Yeah, I'll try. Is shove attack something that I have?
Yes, it's just a standard attack action. So it actually ends up being the same roll, but they get pushed. You can use a shove to push someone away from you, so that would then break a grapple.
Yep.
So then, if you want to do that, I need you to make an athletics check. The spider will make its own.
Yep. Okay, that's a 17.
Yeah, the spider, distracted in some fashion because it gets a natural 1, you manage to push it away and push it prone. Kind of rolls onto its back in a sudden flux of anger that fills your system as you see Khestri knocked down and then put upon. So that spider is knocked away from you. There are still 2 spiders next to you, and you've used your action to take the attack action. What would you like to do?
I've still got the good berries in my belt, right?
Yes.
I take the attack opportunities, well, as in like I just get hit with them, and I run over to Khestri, and I force one into her mouth.
Okay, so it's an action to administer a good berry.
Oh, damn it! Okay,
but you can be ready to do so.
Okay, maybe I don't do that then if it's an action.
Okay. And what would you like to do?
I don't. Sorry. Can I? Is cure wounds a bonus action as well? Or no? No, that's
cure wounds is an action, I'm afraid.
Okay.
As is administrating one of your healing poultices that you've made with Brand. Most healing is an action to apply. The exception is healing word.
Right. Okay. I do not have healing word.
I do.
Yes, it's a particularly potent and therefore quite rare spell to find. Usually you have to be
associated with certain factions, typically of wonder, sometimes of chaos, to gain access to that spell.
Sorcerers are chaotic, but Tempest Sorcery, the one that you've done with is in a different bend.
Okay.
So that's why.
Right. Thanks. As my bonus, can I drink my vial of anti-venom?
So I'm afraid consuming a potion is also an action.
Damn it. Okay.
Yeah, but bonus actions are usually, unless you have something like that says this is a bonus action, then there's very little you can do with it. Like you can run towards people with your aggressive bonus action, but unless it will state that it's a bonus action. Otherwise, actions will either be a free action or a full action.
Okay, thanks. Yep. I don't do anything then.
After Jesse, we have Brat's turn. He will jump down and he will take his attack, singular. Hits. Very decent amount of damage, but not enough to knock Brawnherd unconscious. Khestri, you're unconscious in the D&D sense, but obviously in my games that means you're still conscious. You're just bleeding out and too damaged to really do anything. And you can still hear the drow that's coming down from above you, those incessant words. So you fooled the Dathir into following you. Such a pity. I've seen those eyes before. Dathir being the sort of insulting word drow use for surface elves, other than fairy, which is kind of like a general term for the more spiritedly, not really caring about the world nature that the drow find so offensive in surface elves.
Mhm.
Yeah, Brack comes down with a mighty two-handed strike. Brack in battle tends to almost mirror Brawnherd, but with pure singular precision strikes of a lot of force, while Brawnherd has a lot more speed behind his and spins, and then he uses his shoulder to barge at certain points. But right now he's just intense, standing over you, trying to draw his sword back out from the last attack to finish you off. Robealak, it is your turn.
So I was 30 feet away from the drow at the start of my last turn.
Yep, so you're now 25 feet away, but the drow has just disappeared down the bottom, because he steps towards you in order to get into the pit.
I'm going for the hole.
Okay, you stand over the edge, and you can now see down there in this horseshoe. On one side, Jesse is surrounded by spiders. One of them has been pushed onto his back, but is still crawling up, still doesn't seem that damaged. Khestri is out. You saw her get knocked down by the flames. They still wreath her, slightly burning. One of them, you just noticed as the only one with a good enough perspective, the one that sits on the necklace she wears, the eyepiece, just lightly burns green there instead. And standing on either side of her, like a mirror image, a really short dark elf desperately trying to stab down on her, and then Brack standing over on the other side trying to strike at the drow. What do you do?
I'm going to healing word, Khestri,
You're in the dark now. Show me what you can do.
and I'm going to try and use Brack's positioning to attack like the other side of the drow to get if I can like get advantage.
So that is more of a melee thing.
Yeah. But I'm gonna.
But
try.
you still do have sneak attack damage if you manage to hit, because he is very much engaged with Brack and almost ignoring Brack in his intent to bring Khestri down. Khestri, your 2 death saves stay, but you are currently up with as many hit points as Robealak will just tell you you have. Robealak, you reach into your little pouch on your side and you pull out one of the small little metal idols that you were given on your travels. You have 3 of those, and as you'll see in your healing word spell, one of those dissipates as you use it, consumed in the casting of the spell.
What can I add to it? Just my wisdom modifier.
So you are casting it as a bard spell, so you add your charisma modifier, which is much better for you.
I'll jump down into the pit, and I want to distract this drow because I can see that he's going for Khestri.
Okay.
And I'm gonna like jump down and try and like sort of like land with my Zanasu dagger in his face, and I'll say like,
The angel of Zanasu is here to take you to hell.
Whew. Damn. Are you going to stab him with your dagger?
my Zanasu dagger. I'm gonna
Yeah.
try.
Then you can flank with advantage. I thought you said you were going to do it with your crossbow. So yes,
Nope.
you have advantage on the attack roll.
Oh, we're in. That's a 17.
17 is what you need to hit.
Yeah, buddy.
Yes. You get 1d4 plus 1d4 poison plus 1d6 sneak attack plus either your strength or dexterity modifier, as definitely not expecting this.
So 2 for a d6. Strength modifier is +2. I'm going to tell you now. I'm going to put Fury of the Small into this for an extra 5. That's a D4 on the 4 and a 1, so that's 5 off the D4s. 6 on the D6 makes it 11. Strength modifier makes it 13. Fury of the Small makes it 18.
Fucking hell.
It's a +1 dagger, so it's 19.
It's a +1 dagger, so if it wasn't for the dagger, you also wouldn't have hit.
Yep.
Ooh, 19, I can tell you, is not enough to kill him,
Oh no.
but is enough to make him suddenly realize that he has nothing to lose. He says a command in Drow. Khestri, you're now up enough to hear it. He doesn't say it in Drow, actually. He says it in something else, which you don't speak. It is now the spiders' turns. So, they will come, and ignoring you, Jesse, one of them gets up. It's prone and 5 feet away from you. It stands up. You can't reach Khestri, so will instead attack you. But the other two ignore you, turn around. You can take your attack of opportunity if you want against one of them, and will try and kill Khestri whilst she's down.
After the command of Brawnherd rings out.
Okay, so that's a... damn it. That's an 18.
18
To hit.
hits. So 1d8 plus 6 damage.
8 plus 6. Okay, so that's 8 points.
8 points. Okay. And is that against the one who was hit by your lightning or against the other one?
The one that's hit by my lightning.
In that case, that is just enough to kill it.
Fucking sick.
Thanks to the Armor of Agathis damage it took earlier. And the lightning damage it took. That leaves one attack against Khestri. No swear of a lie, it's a natural one. So, but Khestri is still lying down, so there's advantage.
Oh, rip.
That probably won't do it. 15 to hit will not hit Khestri, I believe. So, Khestri, you come back to proper consciousness, your head ringing from the fall, blood around you, with a single word. And you watch as a spider lunges down at you, and in that moment you can reach up, grabbing its chelicerae, peeling them apart, and throwing them back. It is your turn. There is a spider intent on killing you right there. There's another spider that's fallen down dead just before it. But most immediately, directly above you, quite injured, but also looking like there's only one thing that he wants to do now, and that is to plunge his sword into you. Brawnherd.
Okay. I will attack him.
Okay. You spend half your movement standing up. It's a struggle, but there's that fire now within you. And the little bit of fire that was on you is out, except for that around the symbol on you that continues to burn green on your chest. What do you do?
Okay. I step up towards Brawnherd and I stab him in the gut. I'll
Okay.
force him to take a step back towards where Brack is.
I'm afraid, although you are in the pit, you are still in sunlight.
Yep,
It is not a covered pit.
Can't catch a break.
This is entirely up to you. If you want to cancel that out, you have an ability that allows you to do that if you wanted to, but it would also prevent you from using your extra attack because it requires a bonus action to do.
Yeah. No, I think I just want to stab him, to be perfectly honest, at this point.
Then go right ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Oh no.
first one.
Oh, big no.
Okay, the first one misses.
It feels like you're moving in slow motion.
Most of the strength and finesse is gone, and he's kind of lunging forward. One is blocked away. He's so confined now that the length of his sword is acting against him, but he manages to bring it up in a half grip and deflect the first as you make your second.
No, that's going to miss.
Your second streaks down towards him, and he almost knocks the swords out of your hand. And given how many turns there will be between you and your next, I'll say that he manages to knock one of the swords clean out your hand and down below, because it's his turn next. and he will not hesitate to unleash. He senses that you're close to the end. He will... He's going to attack twice. That's the best option. The first one is a 25 to hit.
That will hit.
All right. Now, just 1 second while I... Something. Nope. Brack is going to try something risky, and he's going to let that go through. Savage attacker will re-roll. He has to re-roll the 1 because of Great Weapon Fighter. No, he won't. So that's 15 points of damage with the sword. So enough to drop Khestri once more.
Yep.
And then he will take his second attack on you with advantage because you're prone.
Yep.
That's a 2. That's an 18 on the dice. So that
I think that's it.
and he will roll his damage. Now this is the important part, which is what Brack's been waiting for. He gets to re-roll that 1. And he used Savage Attack, rolls a 1 again. So I can tell you right now that he has rolled 4 plus 5 is 9.
The 4 not being doubled due to it being an auto crit thanks to the effects of Robealak's poison from hitting him with the dagger of Zanasu. Now, Brack is akin to an ancestral guardian's barbarian.
And so he will use his reaction to attempt to reduce damage dealt by someone by his ancestral protectors. So he is going to roll that and see how it happens. It's 2d6. The first one is a 6. Leaving 3 points of damage for 1d6 of absorbing. And he rolls a 3.
Oh boy!
So I will send that to the group. I'm not going to touch the dice. I'll send the photo. As always, I do it.
Damn.
There's the photo coming into the group chat now.
Holy shit, yo.
That was the gamble he made.
Wicked.
Anyway, so that last hit, suddenly the literal spirits of the elves most recently killed in his village summon, and he summons it by singing a little phrase, and you realize in this moment Brack was the one who sang the solo in the music that you heard whilst you were in the village. And as he sings, the spirits come up through the ground, and they grab the sword just an inch before it can strike Khestri and hold. And Brawnherd has nothing else to do with his actions. Nothing he can do with his bonus actions. He will attempt to do some stuff here, but that ends his turn. Jesse, it's your turn.
Okay.
At the moment, there is still a very angry-looking spider intent on targeting the currently out Khestri. It's standing right next to him, almost forgotten in the excitement of dealing with Brawnherd.
I think I guess I hit that one with thunder. Oh no, I don't. I just hit it with my sword.
you think maybe not, just this once.
But I'm
Okay,
very
make your...
I don't know.
It depends, because it does deal more damage, and it's only a 1 in 20 chance of a wild surge happening during a cantrip.
If you hadn't noticed yet, Jesse is running a different version of the Wild Magic Sorcerer. I make a lot of homebrew classes and races for my players.
But there's still that 1 in 20 chance. Weigh that up against the extra damage dealt. Yeah, it's tough.
I don't know what to do. I think I take the risk and I hit it with Thundersword or whatever.
All right. You're safe on the wild surge. Off you go. Roll to
boy.
hit.
Okay, cool. So I've rolled a 9. I'm going to inspire that with is it a D6?
A D6, indeed.
Okay.
Yes, G.
It's a 6.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. You
Cheers,
hit.
mate.
Roll 2d8 plus 6 damage, please.
That's 2d8. Okay. That's 15 points.
Oh wow!
That does it. That definitely does it. Jesse, you strike down, and with that clap of thunder and the breaking of the plates, the spider falls dead before you. The one behind you, I forgot to roll its attack. I was so caught up at what was happening with Khestri. It misses, so that's fine.
Cool.
You still have movement and bonus action if you have anything you want to do.
Am I in range of the spider on the floor?
The dead one.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
no, the other one that was prone, like the other spider. That
it stood up. It's standing right behind you, trying to attack you.
Okay.
But you're currently just letting it make its work. You like every now and then you throw a hand back or a leg back just to keep it distracted, but it hasn't been able to pierce your defenses yet.
I just I didn't do anything extra.
Then we're over to Brack's turn. Khestri, you're currently lying out, and his guardians are about you. He doesn't have much to work with. Let's see what his items that he's been carrying with him. Well, he does know Psalm after all. He will kneel down and, ignoring Bromherd almost in an insulting fashion, takes out some of the poultry, a very familiar one to you, Jesse, and will apply the bandage to Khestri.
Brawnherd still grappling with the ancestral guardians.
5, 2, and 5. 12 points of healing as an action to you, Khestri, as a herbal poultice, which far more potency than any poultice has ever had in real life, is put down on your open wounds, and you feel this immediate energy pulsing into you. And once again, you go from Daisy barely realizing what's going on to aware. Brawnherd's turning around, still trying to fight, now seeing as Brack's not engaging him, Kheshtri's not engaging him, just Robealak's there. He spins around, the big sword is flying in your direction, Robealak, but he's still talking in Drow. You have no idea, Khestri. Even if you stop me, you have your own personal egg whore. Robealak, it's your turn.
I will healing word Khestri again.
Okay, bonus action, healing word. You pull out your second last of these small idols you carry with you, put it up into the air, and in the casting it becomes an inert substance, no longer useful as a spell focus, but Khestri, you heal for 7 additional healing, so now you're on 19 hit points. And what else would you like to do, Robealak?
I am going to attack this guy, and I'm going to say,
She can't be killed by you, lol scum. She has his blessing.
All right. Make an attack. I'm afraid no advantage now because Brack broke his attack in order to apply the poultice.
again, I rolled the same thing, so it plus strength, plus proficiency, plus 1 dagger, makes it like 18.
18 will hit. So 1d4 plus 1d4 plus 1.
No sneak attack?
No, because he's not threatening him at the moment because he's applying a poultice.
6 points of damage.
You have taken him 1 hit point away from death.
But it's a plus 1. Is a plus. Wait, what did I say? 6 or 5? I said 6, right? I didn't have my strength. No, because I rolled a 2 and a 3.
Right.
Yeah.
My strength is plus
got him.
2. So yeah, I do. I kill him. I do it.
So then you pull out Zanasu's dagger and you stab it in. And he's wearing a chest plate, and the chest plate on the front has the symbol. It's a vertical line and then a horizontal line shorter, and 2 diagonal lines the same length as the horizontal line. It is the symbol of Lolth. And you pull out your dagger and you shove it into his gut because you're much shorter than he is, just below where that breastplate ends. So like right at the bottom, that line where the belt lies, you just slide it in there. As you say your line and expire, Brawnherd in front of you.
Can I like lean into him as he's like on the ground, maybe dead, maybe not dead quite yet?
He's not quite dead yet. He's bleeding out on the ground.
Let me whisper close in your ear so only you can hear me, Braunhurst. Nice and close. And I go right in. I don't know his name. Filthy drow, lol scum. And I go nice and close to his ear. And I say, I will control your spider with the power of Zanasu. And I will feed your filthy corpse to him.
As you get to steal your spider, your speech is cut short as a drow hand clasps around your neck, momentarily cutting off your speech, but you can feel already the strength fading from the hand. There's no way he's going to be able to throttle you out. He glances around, and actually you've put him down into the pit and killed him here. So his death action cannot trigger.
Woo!
What was his death action?
You'll never know.
Oh, damn it.
It's now the spider's turn.
So, with one spider remaining,
It now has access to move past to get to Khestri, and it has its last order, and it doesn't understand the process of healing, so it will continue to do that. Jesse, you have an attack opportunity against it.
I rolled a 19, so I'm guessing that hits.
Yeah. And looks like you wanted to roll the flavor out. How would you like to kill that spider?
I will. What do? I just like shove it through its back as it's running past me.
You slice it in, it falls down dead, and we exit combat. Braunherd bleeding out and hand letting go of Robealak's mouth. Well done, guys. Congratulations.
Oh, God.
Lethal fight.
That was very, very, very close.
Yeah,
That's about as close as it gets.
that was very exciting.
You all just breathe heavily and then realize now, with a bit of excitement over Khestri coming up, possibly looking better than some of you, but I don't think so. I don't think many of you took much damage in the fight. And then you just kind of all realize that Brack's just there. Sorry, I followed you.
You
That's okay.
swung it for us. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, I think I owe you a drink when we get back.
Jesse, insight check.
Nice. Oh, I've not done very well. I rolled a 3, so that's...
Okay, never mind.
Damn it.
You guys are left here. I imagine that you immediately breathe for a second. Just recover your stamina, your fortitude as best you can before climbing out of the pit.
No,
What do you want to do?
I want to loot this scumbag.
Okay.
Thoroughly.
Thoroughly.
Yes.
Then make an investigation check.
13.
You go over his body. First thing that you notice is the breastplate, then his great sword are two items you're like, those deserve taking. You can also find the dagger, not on his body, but just in the vicinity, the dagger that he used. And finally, just as you're about to give up, you manage to find tucked away in a little pouch. Doesn't seem to carry any money on him, but he does have a little, almost like a brooch, a gem brooch of a emerald, quite a lovely green.
Jesse,
Hello.
I've got something for you.
Oh, thanks. What was that?
I point at the sword covered presumably in Khestri's blood.
I think you'd be good with this.
I mean, that's very kind. I'm not sure I'm quite strong enough.
Oh, come on, don't be, come on, even I can.
I try to hold it up and give it to him.
You probably have to drag it along the floor, but it's the leverage. It's not absolutely too heavy for you, but because of the length versus your body and the fact the sword probably weighs less than you do, but close over half of your total body weight.
Wow.
You're a small creature, which means you cannot use a greatsword without using disadvantage on every attack. So you have to drag the tip along the floor as you pull it over.
Also, Jesse, I think that I know it's a distasteful design, out of fashion, God, these days. but the chest plate could be useful too.
Good points. More? Do you think more to pretend we're supporters of Lolth?
Why would we do that? Then
Well,
that's
yeah, I know, but just in case we need to pretend for a bit.
True. Maybe Khestri should wear it.
That's a very good shout. Yeah,
Drow size as well.
yeah, it's a little bit small for her.
Yeah, he's not
Yeah.
very big.
Be very small for you, Jesse. Yeah, he is 5'5". The
Okay.
brawn herd was 5'5".
And I am going to try and find a tasty organ inside him.
Oh, inside him.
Drow anatomy very similar to human anatomy, even more similar to elf anatomy. You can find a number of organs that you want. I'm not going to describe it to you.
Noted.
Khestri, what are you doing? End of this fight.
Khestri will prop herself up on the wall, and she will drop 5 lay on hands onto herself to get rid of the poison.
Okay, yep, you remove the poison from your system. It burns to do so. This was not the standard poison of a spider that was put into you. This was something with intent and with potentially longer and different effects than just giving you those disadvantages in the moment. But the power of Gaunadur burns it clean.
I look over at Jesse, who seems to also have taken a bit of biting from the spider. Are you okay, Jesse?
Not great. Yeah, I'm still pretty poisoned, and I'm a bit hurt as well.
Okay.
But I'll survive.
I'll go over to Jesse and I will spend another 5 to de-poison her.
Jesse, you no longer have the poison condition, although in the same way you feel this uncomfortable burning sensation as the healing takes place, rather than the more uplifting healing sensations that others might utilize.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Khestri. That's appreciated. But the results are slightly troubling.
Brack comes down from his rage. I'm afraid I don't have anything to help with recovery beyond. And he points at the now expended and used poultries. That it was wrapped around one of your more grievous wounds, but I didn't know where you guys were going, and wanted to keep an eye on you.
Well, that's very kind of you.
Brack looks for a moment like he's struggling with something.
Yeah, thanks. You're welcome. I'm gonna just... And he pulls himself out of the pit in a sort of muscle up, and then, just in case there's anything else, wanders a little bit away from you guys as you're tending to each other, and Robealak's biting down into a particularly fleshy part of Brawn Herd.
I don't eat it in front of Khestri. I think that could be insensitive.
Okay, just rooting around inside the innards of this
I'm
person.
Stuck in
Yep.
the trench, quite high for me.
Yes, yeah. You'd have to climb out. You don't get the automatic out that everyone else does.
I'll
Khestri,
let you stand on my shoulders first.
Oh, teamwork.
Teamwork.
Khestri, you can see Brawn Herd just lying there, lifeless. Some of the words that he said ringing through you. It's a nice feeling when you stand over someone who hasn't survived.
Mind giving me a hand to get him back to the surface?
What do you want to do that for?
We have an old saying underground about drow who lie in the sunlight,
Oh, okay.
but down in the dark.
It's kind of sunny down here. It's your thing, though. Yeah, sure, it's your thing. It's your thing. We'll do it your way. Absolutely.
Yeah, I could definitely give you a hand. Is it within my strength to throw him out of the
Oh
pit?
yeah, Definitely, Jesse. You're beefy. 18 is a really good strength score.
Okay,
You-
nice.
You're equivalent of a pro powerlifter in our
Oh my
world
god, Angus.
at 18 strength.
Sit
Okay,
down,
no
for God's sake! Stop doing all this walking!
Yeah, you just one arm and then shot put style just toss the body without much respect for it, given its connotations. You just yeet it out of this hole. You help Robealak out of the pit.
I get-
you.
I said to Robealak, I can do you as well. I'll do you more gently.
Sure, just let me finish up here.
And I just make sure I pick up all the dagger organs and
Yeah,
attack.
you've done what you can.
Okay, help me up.
I do that. I check you out gently, so that you land on your feet, but on the top of the hole.
And she does. And Robealak and Jesse, by the time you get out, Khestri, I imagine you're already out and doing whatever you wish to do with the body of Brawnherd.
I'm staying down in the bottom of the hole, and I'm going to take the oh damn it, what are they called? The Telicerae of the spiders, because of my dodgy venom, and inspect if they look different to the other ones we've seen.
They look like the so the poison within you didn't have the same effect or the same feel as the poison within Khestri.
Yeah.
You were poisoned in the similar fashion to the ones that poisoned you before. And as you look at these spiders and the Telicerae they have, they are the same as the ones that you faced earlier over the frozen lake.
Okay.
Frozen
right.
river.
Yeah.
So Khestri, what are you doing with the body of Brawnherd?
Once Robealak has finished with it, I let her kind of finish up what she's doing. And then I drag it over and kind of prop it so it's sitting up against a tree.
Okay. You drag it out from this section of clearing over beyond the sort of cobblestone into the frozen ground and then slam it up against a tree.
Yep. I take one of my swords and I carve like a stylized kind of eye, just like a couple of lines in the center of his chest.
Okay. Removing the breastplate from him, stripping it clean and tossing it to the side, you cut an eye onto the chest. Make a perception check for me. Disadvantage because it's sunlight. This isn't perception, this is actually investigation, so no disadvantage required. But it's an investigation check.
Okay, in that case, that was a 15.
15, yes. So you notice something that Robealak looked over in her haste to identify armor, weapons, and glittery things. The drow before you, Brawnherd, is wearing a particular cowl around his neck. And as you look at it, it has a shimmering effect, like the best thing you could describe it to is some of the beetles in the Underdark have an almost iridescent nature to it. And the cowl that Brawnherd is wearing has a similar patterning on it.
Okay. I'll unfasten it and I was gonna say I'll hold it up to the light to see it better, but I actually won't do that.
Yes, try and gain some shade from the tree in order to see it better.
Yeah.
Yeah. You look at it and there is definitely this iridescent property, but as you move it, it isn't a mechanical iridescence like you would see, like you're familiar with those bugs. It seems to have a more magical nature to it.
Okay. I shove it into a pocket or a bag for later consideration.
Okay.
And I will look around for. I'll look around to see if there is any dead dry wood around.
Not really. If you recall, you come to this clearing, the tree's gotten smaller, but everything is covered in snow or frozen. Nothing's dry and readily flammable.
Okay. Robealak. if you have everything that you want from him, you think you could set him on fire? Oh, wow. Fucked up. The person who just ate, was that his kidney? I haven't eaten anything. How did you know about that?
There's a certain limit how subtle you can remove someone's kidney in front of other people.
Well, I do that to all our enemies. I think it's good foresight, and we're using the materials. Anyway, it's your thing. This is your day, your special day. He's your enemy. If you want to burn him, we shall. I wish I'd left the organs in so they get cooked with the rest of him, but that's okay. I can create a spark on his clothing.
And try and catch some of his clothing on fire, I guess.
So you will need to assemble some materials around him before you can light him via your light a campfire prestidigitation ability. But you guys do carry some with you for starting your own fires. A very limited amount. Jesse takes a little bit more than everyone else. If you're in an area which only has wet wood, you need some dry wood to kick things off. And so all of you carry that with you as experienced travelers and adventurers. Khestri, fires are a very dangerous thing to start in the Underdark. So unless you were somewhere that you felt very safe, you wouldn't have done it. So you'd be one of the few who wouldn't be accustomed to carrying around firewood with you. But between you guys and Brack, you can certainly kickstart a little pyre here. Khestri, one of the things that you do to the body is you bend the head upwards so it's facing up at the skies, and rather than closing the eyes, you open them so that the body will be burnt whilst he is staring at the sun.
Okay. Nice.
Say it takes about an hour. Is there anything anyone else wants to do in that time?
And it is here that we are going to leave you, separating this episode into 2 parts because it's quite long, and I am tired of editing audio. Khestri, Robealak, and Jesse were brought to you by the wonderful Anna, Angus, and Stu respectively, and the world of Hardak is brought to you by me, DragonDM. At the end of the second part of this episode, I have a small discussion with my players about the combat, because I was so worked up about the way the dice went, as well as to make sure all players were happy with the outcome and understood its implications for the future of our campaign. Talking to your players is the key to having a good game. That is, before the campaign starts, whilst the campaign is running, after the campaign ends. You are looking to improve your playstyle and have more fun. You cannot achieve that without feedback, both positive and negative. Make sure your players understand this, and they will give you honest feedback to help you improve. I set homework for all of my players in between our sessions. Sometimes it is to do with their backstory, sometimes it is to do with where they want to head next, anything to keep them engaged and give me information about the headspace their character currently exists in. Your dungeon master spends a lot of time building the game and world to try and make you have fun. If they ask you to do something with your characters, to help them make that world, then do your best to accommodate them. I am currently in the process of writing a dungeon for the Greendale project. Between that and the rest of what I do with my life, hopefully I will find the time soon to make the second part available to you. I will be continuing to explore the best way to convey these podcasts to you, hopefully improving over time. If you liked today's episode, like this video. If you want to make sure you see the next, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Think someone else should listen to this? Share it. Have opinions on my story or DM style? Add a comment. I have just started exploring digital art, as you can see from the backgrounds that you have watched whilst listening to my voice. If you want one of your characters drawn, leave a description of them in the comments. If I like the concept of your character, I will draw it and upload it attached to one of the future episodes, and you can use it to your heart's content. But for now, as you are headed into the real world, roll initiative.